Still struggling with cervicogenic headache or cervicogenic dizziness? Today's technique is going to be a game changer. I'm Mauro and welcome to day 2 of our 7-day Cervicogenic Relief Challenge. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you one of my #1 techniques that you can do at home to start getting instant relief. Let's get into it right now. Well, welcome back to another episode of Physio Tips with Mauro. I'm your host, Mauro Burnett. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm a board-certified orthopedic physical therapist and the owner of Australian Physiotherapy Specialists located here in Jacksonville, Florida. Well, welcome to episode 2 of our 7-day Cervicogenic Relief Challenge. On this episode, I'm going to teach you one of my best techniques that I teach my patients every day that can give instant relief for cervicogenic headaches and cervicogenic dizziness. This particular technique targets the upper neck joints, C1, C2, and C3. Those joints, when they become stiff and sore and they're not moving appropriately, they tighten the suboccipital muscles at the base of the head. Those are the muscles that are rich with the proprioceptive nerves. On the first episode, if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link in it. But on the first episode, we talked about these proprioceptive nerves. In the first episode, we talked about how to recognize if you have cervicogenic dizziness or cervicogenic headaches, and how that you can tell cervicogenic dizziness from other common vestibular disorders like BPPV. So if you haven't seen it, check it out, watch it, make sure you don't miss any of the episodes. But on today's episode, I'm going to show you a technique that if you already have tightness in your upper cervical spine, how you can deal with it today. If your upper cervical spine, C1 and C2, I'll mention something about that. It controls about 50% or more of your rotation. So if you notice you have dizziness, headaches, nausea, and you can't turn your neck very well, let's say to the right side, or maybe when you turn to the right, it kicks off some dizziness. If that's the case, this technique can be extremely effective and, like I said, can give you some instant relief. As soon as you're done with the technique, you return and see if your dizziness is a bit better. I will mention before we show you the technique that not all physical therapy techniques work for everyone all the time. This technique has to be pain-free. It has to be dizzy-free. You have to go at it slow, and sometimes you have to fine-tune it to make sure you get the right spot. If you try it at home and it makes you feel worse, don't do it, discontinue, and check with your local physio in your town, and they might be able to guide you a little bit better. But let's get into the technique. So I'm going to take a medium-sized hand towel, and what I'm interested in is the selvage, right? The selvage. And then what I'm going to do is put the selvage right at the base of my head, and then I'm going to line it up with the tip of my nose, right? I'm going to change the camera setting to make sure it's a little more clear. I'll do that right now. All right, we've got the selvage or the sewn edge of the towel right at the base of my head, right where the earlobes are. And then I'm going to line this up with the tip of my nose. Down by the chin, it's too low. Up by the eyes, too high. We want the mid face, right? Tip of the nose. It might be a little bit lower the front row of teeth, but that's kind of where we want it to be. We're going to go with that same scenario that turning to the right is causing headache pain, or maybe it's causing dizziness. Or if you turn to the right to talk to your friends too long, it makes you feel pretty rotten. So we're going to try to correct that with this technique. I'm going to drop the right side of the towel. Then I'm going to feed the towel into my right hand. That's super important, that feeding it into the right hand. Then what I'm going to do is grab the towel here, make sure it stays in place. Very gently snug it up to my cheek. If it's not snug up to your cheek, it doesn't work as well. And then you let it rotate you to the right as far as you can comfortably, without dizziness or tightness. As I mentioned before, it's crucial that it's dizzy-free, pain-free. If it's not pain-free, maybe you only rotate so far and you go, wow, I'm starting to get kind of a binding or tightness. Sometimes what you could do to troubleshoot is maybe move the edge of the towel up a millimeter or down a millimeter and then retry. The technique may still be effective, but maybe you're slightly off from where the towel should grab, but we want the towel to grab kind of near that top bone, the C1 bone. But if you get it right, essentially what's going to happen is the towel is going to grab your C1 vertebra and it's going to mobilize C1 onto C2. It's not a stretch. It looks like a stretch, but it's not. It's more like an osteopathic technique to manipulate C1 and C2 and to get it to move again. So on day one, the expert that invented this, his name was Brian Mulligan, famous therapist from New Zealand, and he would recommend, if you went to see him in his clinic, he would only have you do it about 2 times, and that's it. Then you would stop and then reassess to see if it was helpful. If you have less dizziness or less headaches, guess what? That was effective. If you find that this technique was helpful, you can advance this to up to 6 reps per session. And then you could do this 2 or 3 times a day as you feel fit if it's giving you relief. Some of my patients, they've told me I get headaches every day, I get dizziness frequently, really limited in their ability to turn. I show them this technique, they take the towel to work with them, they're trying it when they first get up in the morning, their neck feels better until about 11 a.m., then they do it again, and then sometimes 3 in the afternoon, they do it again. That was an arbitrary example of how someone could use this. And my patient comes back and says, instead of getting a headache every day, now I'm only getting one every 2 weeks. Ultimately, we need to get your strength, your control, your neuromuscular components working for you, and maybe address your posture as well for long-term relief. But for quick short-term relief, you can't beat it. It's a great technique. It's been clinically proven to give you relief right off the bat. I'm going to show you another variation. Let's say that you have dizziness or pain with looking up, and maybe that's causing headache or dizziness. If I take the same sewn edge, right, the selvage part, and I'm going to place it right about the C2 vertebra. Now, where's the C2 vertebra? If I run my finger off the base of my head, the first bump I feel is C1. If I go down about 1 more finger's width, that big bump you feel right there, that's C2. C2 is very prominent. You can feel it sticks out more than the others. So very carefully, I place this at C2, and then I'm going to go up as far as I can comfortably without pain or dizziness, and then back. It's hard to tell from the camera angle, but I'm using very gentle pressure. I'm not pulling forward too strongly. I'm just stabilizing. Notice that the towel goes up as I go up. That's an important detail. Same scenario. Try maybe just a couple reps and then reassess. If you notice you now can go up better, less pain, less dizziness, fantastic. You can build up to 6 reps for this as well. So here's a couple techniques. Give them a try. Drop me a comment in the comment section and tell me, did it bring relief to your upper neck? Did it help decrease some of the dizziness? And did it stop some of the neck pain? Or did you have bad reaction? I want to know. Drop in the comments. Well, thanks for watching today's episode on using self-mobilization to help. Make sure you hang out for the next episode because we're going to look at posture. One of the #1 causes of chronic neck pain and cervicogenic headaches and cervicogenic dizziness. We're going to address these issues. I'm going to show you some great techniques. So next week, check out episode 3. Until then, it's goodbye for now, and we'll see you next time on Physio Tips Tomorrow.